Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to a brand new week at HSHQ. I know the weekend was brutal, but the squad are here. Do not fear. Super Kev is in the house, and he spoke to a certain referee this weekend, and we're going to get this all straight. But look at that guy right there. One of our best signings so far this summer. Let's start off with something positive. Hello, Tommy.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Stretch those muscles, everyone. Get those vocal cords ready. The squad is back, and welcome in once again, my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev, Super Kevin Campbell.
Get rid of the ref. You see how quick the ref run off? Because he knows what's coming. He run off. I got to block him neck tonight. Squaddies. Sophie.
You crack me up, man.
No, but seriously, very rarely, I said to everybody, don't be too despondent. I think the despondency isn't there. I think there's still anger there, Soph. And we've got a referee on to discuss things. And I spoke to Dermot Gallagher last night, and I'm telling you now, this ref's getting it. I'm telling you. So, squaddies, at ease, and let's get stuck into him.
Kev?
Yes. Let's get him back on. Let's get him back on.
How ironic is it that the ref is having technical issues?
It's just, isn't that always the way, Soph? Listen, timing is everything, I hear. Timing is everything. And
apparently.
The technical issues come at just the right time.
Exactly. And Lone Star, good evening to all of the usual suspects. I'm a little bit with Lone Star here, but we're going to get stuck into that a little bit. But we've got to talk about the decisions, of course. And one of your favorite sons is back. Can the ref hear us now? Can VAR hear us? Referee, are you there?
I am here. Thank you.
Good. Nice one, ref. Good to see you. And Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year,
referee.
Happy New Year to you both as well. Sending my best regards from the north of England.
To you and your family, lovely.
We got all the usual suspects in the house. Good evening, squaddies. We are starting off great today. Of course, Manchester United losing to the mighty Wolves, who haven't beaten the Red Devils at Old Trafford since 1980, I think, or at some point.
1890. Since 1890. So.
Oh, you love to see it all. You love to see it all. Get ready, everyone. We've got a great show lined up for you this evening. Let's just get stuck into it. Super Kev was on Sky Sports. Many of you probably saw him over the weekend doing the show for 3 grand hours with our good friend Darren Lewis. Top shelf geezer is Darren. And of course, we have the referee here with all his badges ready to give us the independent incident review. And Super Kev also spoke to Dermot Gallagher this weekend, so he has plenty to say. Right. Yeah. I don't know where to begin, but I'm going to begin at the beginning, okay? I guess we should start with this incident first. The Edison Odegaard penalty. Kev, would you like the referee to give their say first before you respond?
No, I think I want to say something first.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, Sophie. Because I think it's, after speaking to Dermot, I think it's very important I say this just in order to put the ref in a position that he understands.
All right, let me get rid of the pictures then. All right, I'll get rid of the pictures. You're on full screen.
The fact of the matter is the referee is going with the direction of the ball, okay? Because according to the referee, he thinks the goalkeeper's got a touch on it because it goes that way. Now, if it so transpires that he listens to Odegaard and Odegaard said he got me first, he took my foot, that's where I want to ask the referee. Because if the referee thinks that the goalkeeper got a touch, but he got it wrong, that's his original decision, is the corner. Is there any comeback on that? Because obviously VAR might say, oh, it's inconclusive, so we leave it as it is.
So there's a process. There's a process that needs to be followed. So the referee on the field clearly thinks that Ederson's got a touch on that. VAR have looked at it, and actually in that incident, VAR have followed the correct procedure in terms of they've looked at it, they've looked at different angles, and they're not 100% convinced that there's a clear and obvious error on the decision. So I've watched it 6 or 7 times, and I'm not sure. From one angle, I think he gets the ball, and from another angle, I think he doesn't. So I think in this situation, VAR have actually followed the correct process. They've looked at it, they've decided it's not a clear and obvious error by the referee, and therefore the referee's decision on the field stands. There's a bigger picture here that goes on through the game that we'll touch on, where they haven't followed the correct procedure. And that's the problem for me. But in that instant, if that was the only incident in the game, I'd go, that's VAR working correctly. Because the referee thinks he's got a touch. They can't see that there's a clear and obvious error. So therefore, they stood with the decision on the field. That's fine. But then later on in the game, they go against that. Then that's the problem.
Soph, I just want to say,
yeah.
But isn't that the issue, ref? That they think he's got a touch solely because the ball goes a certain way. That doesn't mean he's got a touch.
No, absolutely, 100%.
So
100%,
I know it's instinctive.
It doesn't mean that he's touched it. But what it does mean is that, look, I'm objective. I've got no axe to grind either way. People might think I have, but I haven't. I look at it objectively. And I've seen that incident 6 or 7 times, and I'm not convinced. So I can't see a clear and obvious error. From some angles, I think he's touched it. From some angles, I don't. So
that's what I was going to get
into. Can I be 100% certain that it's a penalty? No.
Ref, I think the egregiousness and the anger that the Arsenal fans feel is because obviously what happened in the second half.
Absolutely. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be absolutely furious.
Exactly. You know, why? If there is any element of doubt, because the referee cannot categorically say 100% that the goalkeeper got a touch. I understand, even if he goes over to the... So let me retract a little bit. Why didn't he go to the monitor is one question. And 2, if he's unsure whether the goalkeeper actually got a touch, isn't it worth him going over just to have a look anyway?
In that incident, they followed the procedure correctly to the letter of the law.
Repeat the procedure again, Ref.
Because no one can see. No one's 100% certain.
So can we just get it clear? Please repeat the procedure again.
So the referee gives the decision on the field. It's his decision. He thinks the ball has been touched. As Kev says, the ball changes angle or seems to change angle. So therefore, the ref's gone. He's taken the ball. It's a corner. Play on. The VAR will look at that. And if the VAR sees that there is a clear and obvious error, i.e. the referee's clearly got it wrong, we can see that Ederson has not taken the ball, but taken the man, then what will happen there is the referee will be told to go to the screen to review the decision. He will then go to the screen, look at it himself, and come up with the decision that he feels on a second review is the correct decision, which 99 times out of 100 will be to reverse his decision.
Ref.
They got that right in that incident, but there were other incidents in the game where they didn't. And that's the frustration, because you either do it correctly or you don't do it at all.
Ref, I just want to add this little bit because I asked this to Dermot. So if the goalkeeper comes out and gets the man first and then the ball, is that not a penalty?
Yeah, possibly. It depends on the tackle, but yes, it can be. It can be a penalty. If he's gone through the ankles of the player and then taken the ball, then if that's in any other position on the field, you'd be given a free kick.
Yeah.
So, yes, it can be, but I can't see that on that incident. I look at it and I go, I'm not sure. And if I'm not sure, it can't be a penalty. Not if I'm not sure, it sounds arrogant, but you know what I mean? If you're looking at it and you go, you're not 100% sure, you can't give a penalty. And in that incident, they got that right. But later on, they let themselves down massively in more ways than one.
Ref, I think you should look at it again, because when you look at it again, you see the keeper make contact with Odegaard first, not the ball.
Kev,
yeah.
I've watched it. I've watched it on several occasions, and it depends what angle you look at.
100%.
There are camera angles where it's clear that he takes the ball, and then there are camera angles where it's clear that he takes the player. And I'm not sure.
But he doesn't even touch the ball.
That's my opinion. I can't.
I understand that, but the key to it is he doesn't even touch the ball. So
no, I just think in that circumstance, I just don't think there's enough there for them to turn it. Oh, if he gives it on the field, by the way, he doesn't overturn it. It's a stonewall penalty on the field.
I understand that.
But that's VAR. So VAR has to clear up clear and obvious errors.
Ref,
exactly.
And when I asked Dermot that, he said the same thing. He said, yeah, well, if he gets the man first, it is a penalty, but VAR stuck to what they stuck to the protocol, basically. So we come unstuck again. We come unstuck
in that
again.
Incident, Arsenal. But can I just say something, Kev? Can I just say something?
One second.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Harry Maguire foul on Tomiyasu at Old Trafford where he grabbed his arm in the box?
Maguire does that all the time.
Maguire's got his arm in the box and he's pulled him down. Now, this is why I think Arsenal fans feel angry, because you talk about the referee missing something clear and obvious. That was clear and obvious.
But Kev, in this same game, in the first half, Jesus gets rugby tackled in a penalty area. He gets absolutely creamed out by Gabriel. And I saw it, I shouted, penalty. It's a penalty. If you let them go, similar to the Maguire thing, if you let them go, you're letting people get away with murder. And he rugby tackles Jesus in the penalty area. VAR look at it and go, there's not enough. And I'm going, okay, you've got a problem if you're letting tackles like that go. So Arsenal, yes, we're on the rub end of that Ederson decision, or you could say that, and the Maguire one. They were on the fortunate end of one in the first half yesterday. Gabriel should have been penalised for a foul on Jesus in the penalty area. It was a clear penalty and wasn't given.
Okay. So, so Vivek, you will get to have some questions in a little bit, but here's the scoop. The most unfortunate thing about this game is that we played some of our best football in years and dominated one of the best teams in years. And unfortunately, these are the things that we need to iron out and talk about, which is why we have the ref on tonight with Super Kev, especially after his conversation with Dermot. So just bear with us a little bit, because we'll get to the football eventually. But now we've had time to simmer down and look at all of the evidence, and Kev's conversation with Dermot Gallagher and his stint on Sky Sports, and having the ref here, there's a few things that we just need to talk about. Ref, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I know we've touched on it a little bit, it happens here in the NFL too. You look at something from the front camera, it tells you one story. You look at something from the side, you look at something from the back. Do you feel like, because of the fact that when you look at, because I felt that Ederson got the, I know Arsenal fans have killed me all weekend, and Kev might not want to hear this either because I've said it, but it felt like Ederson from one angle got the ball and actually Odegaard stepped on him, right? And then I want you to answer like both of these questions, both of you, because the different angles, I think, make VAR make a percentage decision. So if we're looking at it from all the different camera angles, what is the percentage answer on that? But I want you to answer this one first. I think Odegaard made a meal out of it, and that's where Arsenal fans killed me. He went down like arms out, which
I don't.
This is my opinion.
Honestly, I don't. I think he went down. Maybe it's the modern game, but I think he went down like 99.
But he flew his arms up. His arms went up.
Against him, so
but if we're going to criticize Silva for diving, I think Odegaard, had he not embellished so much, they look at that differently?
Don't agree. As a referee looking at it, do I think Odegaard made an absolute meal of it? No. Did he go down trying to make sure that people thought he had contact? Yes. But that's what players do. There's nothing wrong in that. What Bernardo Silva did, we'll touch on it later. What Bernardo Silva did was a different thing. But Bernardo Silva actually doesn't embellish it. Bernardo Silva just falls. He doesn't try and stay on his feet. There's a difference.
We're gonna get to that one. I just want to iron this one out first.
I'm touching on Odegaard because I don't think Odegaard did anything to go against him. I don't think the referee has looked at that and gone, "Oh, Odegaard has made a meal of it. We're not giving it him." The referee thinks the ball has been touched. I think it's just clean. Honestly, I think it's black and white. The referee thinks it's a touch. VAR have looked at it and gone, "We can't find any evidence to say that the referee's wrong corner." That's it. I don't think Odegaard is.
Kev,
Here's the question. Yeah, Sophie, look, there is an angle that looks like the goalkeeper's got a touch. I agree with that. There is an angle that looks like that. When you see it, you think the goalkeeper's got a touch. When you see the other angles, you realize, actually, no, he didn't. Here's the key, though. If you're going to be using VAR, isn't it to get it right? So you should have every angle possible to look at the incident. So you cannot.
And Kev, that's where I think, and people are saying to me, "What's she talking about with the percentage angles?" But two ways it looks different. Two ways it looks different, Kev.
But so the key is getting it right. Whether you look at 4 angles, 5 angles.
I understand that.
The key is to get it right. And there is one specific angle that shows when Ederson comes out, he makes contact with Odegaard, and that's what makes the ball go a certain way. So if the TV cameras have got it, is my point, ref, Soph. If the TV cameras have got it, why doesn't VAR have it? That makes no sense to me, because the key is to get it right.
I generally have a massive problem actually with the need to protect a referee on the field. I have a huge problem with it, even as a referee.
What do you mean by that, ref?
Because what they're doing is they're saying, well, we stick with the referee's decision on the field because if the referee makes a decision and we can't come up with 100% conviction that something's wrong. But actually, if you look at rugby union, for example, in rugby union, they don't worry about that. The conversation between the referee and the TMO in rugby union is dead straightforward. Is it right or is it wrong? Have referees missed some foul play and they go back and look at it, and it's not about whether the referee made a mistake. I go back to it. I think I've said it on your podcast about 1 billion times, and people are bored of me saying it. The only person on a football field who's not allowed to make a mistake is a referee. Your £1 million striker can sky one from 3 yards, and no one really bats an eyelid. Where a referee makes a mistake and the world ends. And that needs to stop. The referee should be entitled to make an error, and the referee should be entitled to have the backing of VAR, if that's what we're going to have, to say, you've got that wrong, we'll reverse that decision. Not look at it again, not go with it again, reverse the decision. And if they did that, we'd all be in a clearer place. And the problem is we're not in a clear place. We're having this discussion here now where we're talking about the technicalities of VAR. It's ridiculous. It's the same in cricket. In cricket, umpires call in cricket. What's that? Is it out or isn't out? Is it out? No. Because the umpire gives the decision on the field, it changes. It's just nonsense. It's either out or not out. It's either a foul or not a foul. It's either a penalty or not a penalty. And if the referee makes a mistake, that's fine. Don't pillory him for it because it's a quick game.
Ref, I ain't pillorying the referee.
No, I'm not. You're not, Kev.
No. My key to it is this. What is the point of VAR there? It's to help the referee.
Should be.
So, therefore, if VAR are going to look at it, they should have every conceivable angle to look at it. And if they've had every conceivable angle and they see something, they see that Ederson's kicked through Odegaard, then they say, go and have a look. But the fact of the matter is, even if the referee went and had a look and thought, I'm going to stick to my original decision, I have got no problem with that, ref. I think the problem Arsenal fans have is he goes and looks at one and doesn't look at the other.
Yeah.
And we've been on the end of some of these decisions that People talk about clear and obvious.
The problem with the second one, which we'll touch on, I'm sure, but the problem with the second one's not even that for me. The biggest issue with the Bernardo Silva penalty is, according to those who could hear the interaction between the referee and the VAR official told the referee to overturn his decision. Now, I don't actually have a problem with that, but why go through the facade of making him go to the screen to look at it again? They told him he got it wrong, which is fine. Just what I touched on a minute ago. It's fine. If they're saying it's a clear and obvious error, you've got that wrong, mate, overturn your decision. If we can hear that and we have the video evidence in front of us and we go, yeah, I can see that. But that's not the protocol. That's not what the rule is. So don't bend the rules, and they bent the rule in that.
It's a fantastic point.
Whether it's a penalty or not a penalty, it's not the point.
Yeah.
They didn't follow the same protocol as they followed in the previous decisions. As I've said, there was the penalty against Ederson. There was a penalty by Gabriel on Jesus. Both of those, they followed the protocol. Can we overturn it? Don't think we can. Okay, play on. Fine. It's consistent with that one. Go and have a look at the screen, and it's like, wow. And it does make you wonder whether the Man Cities, the Liverpools of this world do get away with all this pressure on the referees and the VAR in those situations.
You mean like the Mane elbow at the beginning of the Chelsea game?
Yeah,
that was,
look,
yeah.
Again, Mane, Kev will know this. Mane is a player who he feels like he has to he feels like he has to put his presence on defenders because his size isn't so great. So he leaves something on. I've got a problem with that. No problem. Defenders will soon leave one on him. But if you do throw an elbow out and you get caught, you can't complain. Now, was it malicious? Don't know, but he stuck his elbow out. So therefore it should be a red card. And people are saying, well, it's 6 seconds of a game. Doesn't matter. Well, only 6 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, whatever. If you elbow someone in the face and it's endangering an opponent, and it's a red card.
Ref, you remember last season at Anfield? He done Kieran Tierney, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he threw an elbow then.
But
I think
Kev,
he was...
yeah,
sorry,
I know.
Ref.
Okay.
His eyes were always on the ball. I've played in that position. Trust me. Azpilicueta comes to jam him. He comes to jam him. Very rarely you would see the fullback then jump and Mane jump. Similar to what happened with Tommy
Mane's left one on him.
But no, Mane's got his eyes on the ball.
But I think he knows he's there. And I think Mane, if you watch Mane regularly, Kev, you watch Mane regularly, and I do every week, if you watch Mane, when he's playing against defenders, what he tries to do...
Ref, please. We're talking about... You've watched it. I've watched it about 100 times this week, since yesterday. He's got his eyes totally on the ball, and you cannot jump without your arms. He doesn't throw the elbow. He doesn't. He puts his arm up to jump. The fact of the matter is, Azpilicueta is right there.
Kev, I watch him every week, right? And I'll tell you what, Mane, and I love Mane. And people know here I'm a Liverpool fan, season ticket holder. I watch Mane every week, and I love him. But I'm telling you, he's got a bit of, what's the word? He's got a bit of devilment in him. And what I mean by that is, when he's playing against defenders, he gets his retaliation in first, and he does it a lot. Now, that's fine. I have no problem with it. I think he knew Azpilicueta was there. I don't think he deliberately just to elbow him in the face and hurt him, but I think what he's doing is he's going, if you're going to come and challenge me, my arm's coming out. He doesn't jump. His arm comes out. I just think he knows what he's doing. And I have no problem with it, by the way. No problem with it. If defenders will do one on him, as you very well know, Kev. Centre halves will leave one on you all day.
Of course.
So I have no problem with Mane with that. I've had a discussion with many an Arsenal fan about it because he's done a few things against you. The one on, was it Tierney? He did 2 games ago.
Last season. And Tommy Arsenal was this season.
I think Mane's really smart at smart shithousery. I really do.
You are?
And I think Mane is very smart at shithousery.
I think he's savage.
And that's like, I'm not saying he's Diego Costa.
No,
but
he's got a bit of Suarez in him. Suarez used to do it.
Yeah, but again,
Suarez got 22 game ban and never got a red card.
But ref, again, Sophie, the key to it is you've got to to know that the player's there, of course the player's going to be there, but he never looks at him once.
No, I know he didn't look at him.
No, he doesn't. And you know what, Kev? I think if that happens half hour in, Mane may get a red card. And I think the ref is bang on.
Does.
No, I think the ref.
He does,
I think there's this idiocy. You guys can help me.
Idiocy.
At the beginning of a game, if someone goes in 2-footed or studs up or gives an elbow, 1 minute in, 2 minutes in, what's the difference? What the ref is saying is 100% right.
I think the Mane one falls into the category of, if he gets a red, I don't think he can criticise. I don't think he can argue. But if he doesn't get a red, you can go, well, okay, the referee's seen what Kev's saying. And that's an interpretation. And I get that. That's fine. It's not Stonewall. But he can't complain if one day he gets caught on the foul side of it. That's all I'm saying.
100% ref. Listen, if he got sent off, what can you say? There's nothing you can say to it. But me being the next player, I could only say, I've done it before. Where you've got your eyes on the ball,
Kevin, you dived,
and you've lifted your arms up, and you've caught somebody. You're not elbowing them.
Kev, have you dived to get a decision?
Of course, if you get contacted and you go down, 100%.
I love you, honestly.
100%. If you get made contact and the ball's run away and you go down, it's still a free kick, Soph. It's not a matter of diving to try and get a penalty or whatever.
Yeah,
or in the box, if somebody's grabbing you in the box and you go down, that's how you accentuate the penalty.
And that's the stupid thing with the penalty that you gave away. When you're in total control of the game and you're the better side and you're bossing a game against Man City, you don't give them cheap and easy answers out and grabbing his shirt in the penalty area. He's just like, because they're not daft City.
Yeah.
No. They played that game to T and they knew that we had them and they were waiting. It's a little bit like, do you remember when Mourinho used to say that about us, Kev? Mm-hmm. We know at some point they're going to make a mental mistake or they're going to break.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and robots will eat you. I know you just said are you saying, Sophie, it's then not smart shithousery when Xhaka does it? No, Xhaka just does it really daftly. And let's move on to this one now, because I'm sorry. He gave the ref, the ref said, get up on the pitch. But the minute the VAR team see this, they're going to pull the ref up.
I don't agree, Soph.
I mean, I'm sorry. Once you pull the shirt, ref,
it's a Stonewall penalty.
Yeah,
I think
again,
it is.
They've gone against their own. They've gone against their own decision making. Now, again, with VAR, the way it is, because we're not robots. So with VAR, it's subjective. Anyone looking at a decision can have an interpretation. So you're in the studio looking at it, and the referee on the field, and the linesman. Let's not forget the linesman who is opposite it. So there's decisions that were made on the field, and when he did it, when it happened live, I thought it's a penalty. But that doesn't mean that VAR should necessarily overturn something just because I think it's a penalty. The referee thought different. And the referee in the game had VAR in the game had consistently done the same thing. They'd gone, is there enough? And I go back to the Gabriel incident. If that is given, if the referee is told to go to the screen to overturn that decision, then you should have had 2 penalties against you. Because the referee should have been told to go and have a look at the Gabriel incident. And they didn't. I don't think there's enough in that decision to make the referee change his mind. I don't. Shirt pulling happens. It happens in every game, every corner, every ball into the box. It happens in every game. There's enough in it for me where Bernardo feels the contact, as Kev said before, and has taken the advantage and gone down. I'm not blaming Bernardo. He should go down because it's stupid. But if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be thinking, why have they done it in that incident? Why have they done it then? When there's 2 other incidents, especially one other incident was actually against you, but why have they done it in that incident? Why? And then for them to tell the referee, which the commentators alluded to, and people on social media who could hear the conversation have said since, that the referee was told to overturn his decision. Well, you might as well not have the facade of going looking at a screen, because if you're going to do that, then you've got the TMO incident with rugby. Overturn your decision. It's wrong. That's fine, but that's not the rule. You've changed the rule in an instant for that decision, and that's wrong.
Ref.
What did Dermot say? Kev, I'd love your response to ref, and also I'd love to know what Dermot said about the first one and this one.
Well, we discussed. Let's talk about Silva. We discussed that, and Xhaka leaves VAR or whoever no choice, because grabbing shirts, ref, I understand it happens in the box, but when it's at such close proximity and then he's going down and he keeps holding the shirt, I think you've got a picture of him, Silva going down, Sophie, and Xhaka still holding his shirt. Now, you leave the referee or VAR or whoever no choice as far as I'm concerned. If he'd have let it go a little bit earlier, I think he gets away with it.
Right.
But because he's grabbed it for so long, he's gone down and then he's remonstrated, I think you leave them no choice. There was a little bit of leg in there, which I don't think was enough.
But then be consistent. Do that every time. Don't do it on one decision and then don't do it on other decisions. That's my problem with it.
Ref, that's our problem with it.
Our problem with
the
it.
Inconsistency. You know,
if he went to the screen for the penalty, and he went to the Ederson penalty, and he went to the screen for the Gabriel penalty, and then he went to the screen for that, I'd go, good. That's consistency.
Fair.
Good, that's what we need.
Yeah.
But don't do it for one, and then not for the others, because what it makes you start to look at is going, it's not right, that.
His favourite.
It leaves a sort of sour taste.
Yeah.
Ref and Kev, I wanted to put Amir Aziz's comment up, because he's saying, ref, what counts as a red card? Is it the intent to hurt a player or how excessive the force is in a challenge? Even if the challenge on Martinelli was a slip, is that a red card? I think they're talking about...
Yeah, no. Right, okay. So this both. So endangering an opponent, even if it's not intentional, can be a red card, shall we say. You see a lot of tackles. The Martinelli one looked worse in real time than it did when you saw it on the replay, because at first I was thinking he was going to be in trouble. He slipped. He's not endangering an opponent. His feet were on the floor, really. His feet went forward, and he wasn't off the floor. He wasn't going shin high. He's unlucky there, and that's not a red card. And nobody made a deal out of it, and correctly so. But there's some tackles where. Let me think of an example. Paul Pogba got sent off against Liverpool for a high one. Where is he trying to injure a man? No, I don't think he is. He's just frustrated and got there a little bit late. Tries to block the ball and
he's out of control a bit, isn't he? Yeah.
We're in a sporting environment now in all sports where the welfare of players is meant to be taken a lot more seriously. So it doesn't matter really if you intend to hurt someone. If you do a reckless challenge without intent, and you could injure an opponent, you will be shown a red card, or you should be shown a red card. Now it's the same in rugby, it's the same in other sports. That's coming into the game a lot more, and it'll get worse or better, or whether you want to put. We'll be looking at we already do, don't we? We look at tackles, and you think, God, if Graham Souness did that, he'd be off.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But we'll be looking at this in 5 years' time, where there'll be tackles where you'd be thinking, my God, that's never a red, because we're looking at it from the way we've watched football. But it's changing, and rightly so. Players can get seriously hurt without intent, just because there's intent. In fact, if you go back to the Tottenham-Liverpool game, the excuse given by VAR that Harry Kane shouldn't have been sent off for the tackle on Andy Robertson was that Andy Robertson lifted his leg up. And you're going, so what you're actually saying there is that Andy Robertson should have allowed his leg to be broken. What a load of rubbish.
Nonsense.
In fact, that was intentional, but it was endangering an opponent. And you're saying he should have left his leg there to be broken. I don't even know what they're trying to do.
Okay, so I want to ask you this, Kev, ref, and also what Dermot Gallagher said. Was the Odegaard incident a penalty? Was the Xhaka incident a penalty? Because I want to move on to Gabriel and a couple of other incidences in the game. Was it? What did Dermot say, Kev?
Dermot said no. He said no. He said the referee got it right on the day because the VAR was inconclusive. They couldn't make the decision. from VAR, so the ref's first decision counts. That's what he said. I thought it was a penalty, but he said, and listen, I've got no problem with that. I just would have liked him to go to the screen and have a look. If he turns around and says, no, I'll stick with my original, I've got no problem. But because the way the game panned out, it looks as though he's favouring Man City with the way the VAR went. Because he didn't give that as a penalty. You know, he didn't give the Silva one as a penalty. He didn't give the Odegaard one as a penalty. I mean, that's the one where Xhaka still got hold of him.
He's still got. He's going down and he's holding him. He was holding him from the beginning.
Yeah, that's the problem. And let's be honest, so we have seen Xhaka's got previous on that. You know, he has got previous on that.
That's not, and also, let's be honest, 400 of you in live chat this fine Monday, our second show of 2002. The ref and Super Kev with us this evening, of course. We'll get your questions in as well. But I want to move on a little bit to the Gabriel stuff too, referee. Again, I'll say it's a shame because I want to be talking about how sensational we were in the first half against Man City. I loved seeing the fear in Kevin De Bruyne's eyes when the camera went close up to him, to Sterling, to Pep Guardiola. I don't think any team has played Man City like this. Maybe Liverpool have in the past over the last 2 or 3 years. But even Tottenham beat them, but they never played like we did. They never played like we did. We went balls out, and Arsenal fans have been waiting for that moment. So let's just get this over with, you guys, because Gabriel, to me, I've said he's a young player who has a lot of maturity. And what I've said, ref, is that we have a young squad that are mature, but we still have a little naivety. And, you know, some Arsenal fans don't want to hear that. He wasn't booked for scuffing I said he scuffed the penalty spot. That's why he got booked. That's not the reason. He wasn't booked because he got pushed onto the referee. He got booked because he was belly aching on the way back to after the penalty was scored. And the referee booked him. And then he hook lined Jesus. Can we all agree that Gabriel, there's no way to defend Gabriel for what happened? Ref, I'll start with you.
Got caught up in the emotion, didn't he?
Yeah.
Firstly, Arsenal were excellent. And not just in the first half. Arsenal were excellent for 85 minutes of the game. They were outstanding. Best performance I've seen from an Arsenal side in a long time. They showed guts, they showed balls, they showed mentality, which you need to fight against the top sides. The problem is, when you're playing against a City, you have to be perfect. You can't have 2 minutes off, because if you're 2 minutes off, you get beat.
That's a great point.
It was a space of 2 minutes where Gabriel, he does scuff the penalty area, penalty spot up, doesn't get booked for it, but he does, which is just stupid, by the way. He's not 10. Just don't do that. It's pathetic. These are professional footballers. He'll score anyway. Stop being a dick. Secondly, belly aching at the referee is going to get you a booking in no circumstances. So that's pathetic. Then Martinelli misses an open goal. And in those minutes, then, the game's turned on its head. And then to just knock it all off, he rugby tackles Gabriel on the halfway line and gets a second yellow in the space of 2 minutes. And it's like, in those 2 minutes, I was messaging someone about it. And I said, he's just lost you the game. He has just lost you the game. And he went, well, he still won. We can still win this. I can, you won't. City will score here. Because you can't, you've got to be perfect against City with 11 men. With 10 men, well, you've got a job of work. Yeah, you've got a job of work, because they'll pull you all over the place. And yeah, to be honest with you, actually, I don't even think they were that convincing against your 10 men. But they were always going to get one chance. And when they get that one chance, they'll put it away because they're clinical. And that's what they did. And it's just like, I hope that in the dressing room, I hope that the pros in the dressing room and the coaching staff, I'm not talking about hanging Gabriel out to dry. You know, he's made a mistake. He's a young lad. I hope they tell him in the right way. I hope they say, look, you know, let this be a learning curve for you. Let you learn that what the stakes are. If you want to compete, if you want to get in the top four and you want to go head to head against the Liverpools and the Cities and the Chelseas of this world, and then in Europe, you can't be stupid. You've got to be savvy. And in those incidents, whether I think the Xhaka thing's a penalty or not, it's irrelevant. It's stupid. Then to get booked in those manners And okay, Martinelli missing an own goal. Forget that. Kev will tell you, strikers can miss chances.
It happens.
That's the nature of the beast. It's not his fault. He had a great game, Martinelli, by the way. It's not his fault. But you can avoid you avoid the avoidables. You know, if Kevin De Bruyne picks the ball up on the halfway line, shots forward and slams it into the... Look at City yesterday, Chelsea yesterday with Kovacic. You know, young Gallagher in goal for Liverpool does brilliantly. And he top bins it. And sometimes you just got to go, okay, nothing we can do about that. Absolutely zero. Go back to the halfway line, get on with it. Changes the game. But you could avoid that. Gabriel could avoid those two incidents that stopped you from winning the game. And I hope that people have pointed it out to him. I hope people have, not in a bad way, not in a nasty way, but I hope people have got hold of him and said, right, you learn from this. Watch it again. Because you can avoid that.
Yeah, ref, I just think that 2 minutes, we got caught up in the emotion. Yeah. The crowd were up. We knew, as on Arsenal side, we had the crowd behind us. We knew we had Man City. That's the difference. We knew we had them. So when we start doing things that are not conducive to winning the game, because as soon as Gabriel gets booked, he's got to realize, I could go tight, but I've got to put the brakes on. I've got to put the brakes on. Again, he leaves the referee no choice. You know,
that's the problem.
He leaves the referee no choice. Even at 1-1, I still fancy us with 11 men because we're beating them. We're giving them a runaround. But again, the emotion, and this is the difference. This is part of that learning curve that you're talking about, ref. That you get in the dressing room and you realize, what have I done? You get it pointed out, you watch the videos, and you actually see, you've watched it again, Sophie, I've watched it again. You actually see us high and then us dip. Soon as we dip,
we knew it.
City are on us. That's it. They've smelt the blood. That's why they're champions. Because it's games like this.
You just said something, Kev. You said something, Kev, which is absolutely bang on. You know, when you said that you had City, and you know what I mean. The thing is, City knew you had City.
Yes.
So in their heads, because of the type of side that they are and the experience that they have played in those positions, they knew. They were like, right, okay, look, we're not playing well here. Where it's going to come. It's not going to come because we're not playing well enough, and the opposition are playing better. So actually, we need to live in moments. And they lived in moments. So as soon as the touch goes on Silva, he's going down because I can get a penalty.
100%.
I can get a penalty. And then the game changes because
they knew they never had anything in the game. They took the advantage and, you know, and they're going to do that. Smart teams do that in those moments. You know what? I compared this on another show over the weekend and some people got it and some people didn't. And, you know, we've been there before. You know, there's elder statesmen in the Premier League. Kev and I talk about this in terms of decisions, certain teams, right? And I want Arsenal fans to now focus on how well we played and what we have, whether you agree or you've been Arteta in or Arteta out. What we saw this weekend was pretty special. And he wasn't even on the sideline. The manager wasn't even there. But clearly, this new DNA and culture of these new players, and Kev's always said, the players, you need a certain caliber of player, right? And Ref and Kev, I said, in our world, Amazon and Apple hardly pay any taxes. We all work our asses off and we pay premium taxes. Man City are the Amazon and the Apple of the Premier League. I would say Liverpool have gone back to becoming one of those higher echelon. They get the decisions because they've earned the respect. And people kind of came at me and said, oh, come on. So now you're saying we don't get it because we're not X or Y. Yes.
Yeah.
Kev?
Yeah. Sophie, 100 million% correct. I want people to go back and look at the Invincibles and some of them teams. Don't you dare think that side never got favourable decisions.
Of course he did.
Bergkamp had... How much shithousery did Bergkamp have, Kev?
He had plenty, but Sophie, you earned everything you have to earn in this game.
Also, Kev.
Yeah.
Also, Kev, those sides, the Arsenal sides of the Invincibles, the Manchester United sides back in the day, the Liverpool sides back in the day, the Liverpool sides now, the Manchester City side now, the reason why they get more decisions is because they give the referees more to think about, because they press and they press and they press and they press. There was a stat going down about United at Old Trafford back in the day under Ferguson where they got X amount of penalties, and it's because they're in the penalty box all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
So
but Ref,
if you press and push and push and push and push, and you've got 70,000 people behind you, at some point, you're going to get decisions where the referee's going to go, it's a penalty.
Yeah, but Ref, my point of the matter is they weren't pressing against the Arsenal at the Emirates.
No, this weekend. No.
But because of who they are, remember,
because of who they are, they give the
they're
decision.
the champions.
That's right.
There's a
Which
certain
is why,
risk. Whether
which is
people
why
like
I've got
it or
the
not.
problem with the process. That's my problem with the process.
But Ref, whether people like it or not,
Yeah.
when you are the champions, you have earned that spot. You've earned that spot. Decisions tend to go your way. We need to get back there.
Yeah.
That's what Fergie
Exactly.
time.
Fergie
Kevin
time.
well said.
Yep.
Fergie time and all that. You get the little breaks, you get the little decisions here and there. That
Doesn't make it right, Kev, but it's the reality.
But there's a hierarchy, and we've always said it, Soph.
Yeah.
We are trying to get back into that.
We're earning our respect back. And
well, if you carry on playing like you did at weekend,
I think we
keep
will.
that momentum up, and let's hope that momentum doesn't carry on in the next week, by the way, but just let's see if you keep that momentum up.
Before, we have a few minutes left, Ref. Can we just focus on the performance? There's an image. I don't know if I was able to load it up, but there's an image of Saka with 6 Manchester City players around him.
And the ref.
And the referee.
7.
Can you give us the objective outsider perspective on that performance, please? Because I would love, after today, by the way, squaddies, we're not talking about this ever again.
Not tomorrow.
Remember that scene in The Bodyguard where Kevin Costner comes back in after he saves Whitney Houston's life, and the people that are working for her have let her down, and there's no word said, and they fight, and he peels a peach, and he goes, "We'll never speak of this again." Go on, Ref.
So I was on this show not that long ago, and it was very negative. There was a negative discussion, apart from Kev. Kev wasn't negative. I was negative about Arsenal. I'll be honest.
Was Sophie negative, Ref?
I couldn't
Anyone
see
for tennis?
I couldn't see.
It was bad though, wasn't it, Ref? It was bad. Wasn't it bad? It was bad. It was bad at that time, the last time you were on.
But you know what? We've been here. We've all been here as football fans and as football players. Kev will tell you, it's about growth and it's about growing into something. And it looks like Arsenal are creating a momentum about them, which comes through. And Kev actually alluded to, and it's funny because when I watched the show back last time I was on, I thought I sort of agree with Kev here in a way, because he was saying win football matches. Doesn't matter how you play sometimes, just win a football match. And winning football matches gives you momentum, and then you can build on that and you keep going and you keep going. And it looks like Arsenal have sort of built on that. And I think that was the culmination of it at weekend. You saw an Arsenal side. I think Arsenal should come away from this not even worried about the fact that they lost to City. I think they should just go, okay, because if you'd have said before the weekend that Arsenal would lose to City, you'd go probably. Actually, the performance for once should override the result. And I think in the training ground at Arsenal, at London Colney, I think the players and the coaching staff and the analysts will be looking at that going, yeah, this is where we want to be. We've pushed a team like City to the nth. We were the better team. Yes, the result didn't go our way, but we can actually pinpoint why the result didn't go our way. It wasn't about structure. It wasn't about our formation. It wasn't about our players. It was a couple of mistakes. And you can rectify those mistakes. You can learn from those mistakes. And putting my objective hat on, you could get to a final in a week. You could be at Wembley in a final. And imagine the mood music that's coming out of the Arsenal camp if you get 3 wins in the next week, where you win your FA Cup game and you win your 2 semi-finals. And all of a sudden, You're pushing for 4th place. United losing tonight's help you. You're pushing for 4th place. You're in a final. That momentum Arsenal can take into the future and take into the future games and actually go onto a field when you're playing against not the bigger side, so your Brightons and your Wolves and your people like that. We're Arsenal. Oh, fuck you. We're Arsenal. Come on. We've got Smith Rowe, we've got Martinelli, we've got Saka, we've got really good players. We've got Ben White, we've got Gabriel, you've got a great goalkeeper. You've got Tierney. The lad Tommy Asu looks like an absolute steal. You know, the biggest compliment I can play Tommy Asu is he looked like a Liverpool fullback to me. I was like,
I get your hands off him.
We're okay with fullbacks. I'm just saying, we don't need him. I'm just saying. But you look at Arsenal, I think, I was applauding Arsenal, so I had to tell you, this is a great performance. Good for you. And that's not being patronising. That's not me saying, oh, well, you could have won. You should have won. And actually, I hope there is some critical voices. I hope there is some people in the dressing room going, do you know what? We should have won that. So next time we play, then we win. Let's hope it's not this Thursday, but next time we play, we win. And I'd like to wish you luck for Thursday, but unfortunately, I can't.
I think everyone else will be rooting for us. But Kev, the truth is this game is in the rearview mirror. You know my saying, I only use the rearview mirror to check my lipstick. Time to move on and say, as an Arsenal fan, Magic Mike and I were talking about this a lot too. The performance was amazing. He may not remember it. He was drinking too much Greek ouzo over the holidays, but the performance was incredible. The best I've seen in years, Kev. And we lost, but it's one of those, sometimes I say winning ugly is beautiful, but losing ugly can also be a beautiful thing. We lost beautifully in an ugly way. There's a whole thing there, Kev. Go on.
Yeah, look, Soph, I look at this Arsenal side, and every time we get to a point where we're going to play somebody, it's our next big challenge, isn't it? It's our next big challenge. We have a challenge coming up against Liverpool, 2-legged semi-final coming up. We look at that Manchester City game, and how many times have we played the big boys and been despondent and upset and angry because we should have won the game? Normally it's, why did we perform so poorly? Or, maybe we were unlucky. No, we were the team. We were the team. It's the small details that caught us out. And that wasn't their doing, that was our doing. And so the ref's right. We look back at the video, we check ourselves out, we learn from it. We learned from getting hammered at Liverpool. Coming into this game against another one of the big boys, the big three, we were the better side, we still lost. Here's the keys. What have we learned? We've learned from that Liverpool result. Yeah, we were at home, but we took City on and City couldn't handle us. These are the keys that we have to use moving forward. We have got a young team. We are a little bit naive at times. So although we're mature, the young boys are mature, we are a little bit naive because you know what? In the key moments, putting the hands on people in the box or getting a second booking, we can't afford that. But here we are. Again, we're learning on the job, Soph. Just like we said the manager is, this team is now. We're learning on the job. So
we are
improving, and it's a snapshot, hopefully, of the future.
You did that show almost, 7 months ago, Kev? The snapshot show? I can quote it or clip it for people, but there's been moments of that. We've seen glimpses of it. And I have to say, people don't like to hear it, but since Aubameyang has been dropped, we've been a completely different team. We've just been a totally different side. And this has been an amazing show. And the ref, once again, giving us the independent view. Ref, how would you summarize all of this? What would you like to leave the Gooner Nation with this fine Monday evening as we approach a very important semi-final against a certain team called Liverpool? And of course, we've got the FA Cup coming up this weekend against Kev's old team, Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
And then we've got the North London derby in it, which I think Spurs are due a loss because they've been
Kevin Campbell
playing.
derby.
Hold on, is it not the second leg next week?
Yeah,
the first leg's
Thursday,
this week, and then next.
Highbury.
Yeah.
The first leg.
Is that Highbury? Sorry, is that the Emirates? And then the next one's at Anfield. And then we got.
By the way, I'm going to give Liverpool a bit of kudos here. They're selling tickets for under 16s for £1, which is very good, and I applaud them for that. What I would say is, I think Arsenal have seemed to have found their joy back a little bit, and as an outsider looking at your fan base, sometimes it's laughable because it always seems to fall into a Wenger in, Wenger out, Emery in, Emery out, Arteta in, Arteta out debate. And it's almost like this cycle that Arsenal fans seem to just fall back into straight away. And sometimes you've got to get rid of that. Sometimes you have to just say, right, okay, well, here's where we are. And as long as you can see signs of progress and as long as you can see it improving, I look at Arsenal from the outside. And I said this last time, I don't see enough leaders, and I still don't. I think they could do with one or two older heads to actually lift them through it at times. But I'll look at them, I'll look at Smith Rowe, and I'll look at Saka, and I'll look at Martinelli, and I'll look at those type of players, Ben White, Tommy Asu, Ramsdale. I'll look at a real spine of a good team who play football the right way, who want to approach games the right way, and they just need to find a little bit more savviness and game management out of it. And if they can bring that into it, there's no reason. They're better than United. I've watched United tonight. I don't even know what that guy's doing there. 4-2-2-2. I don't even know what that is. It looks like I don't know, it looks like a funnel. What's he doing? 4-2-2-2 formation. I mean, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I mean, how can you play in that? How can their players know what they're doing? They can't pass the ball to each other in midfield because no one's there. So I look at Arsenal and I think, better than them. There's no reason why you can't finish way above United. There's no reason why you can't finish above a Tottenham. Fourth place is there for the taking. It's there for the taking in this league. There's a lot of average teams. And there's no reason why Arsenal can't finish in the top four, at least, and win a trophy. Let's hope it's not the one you're in this week, but and win a trophy. If we don't win it, I want you to win it. There you go.
Oh, man. Liverpool.
The best of a bad lot.
Talk about history, I tell you. The best of a bad lot. Yeah, totally. The good news is tonight we're all united after the old United loss to Wolves. There's no doubt about that. And I tell you, my Greek boy Tsimikas, I do love him. He destroyed us in the Europa League, Olympiacos, I was there for that game just before the first lockdown hit. And
He's a great player, Kostas Tsimikas. He just looks like he's asleep all the time.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like he needs
he's Greek. You know, we're very horizontal, us Greeks. We do love that position. I meant in a relaxed way.
Yeah, of course you did, so of course you did. Yeah.
And on that bombshell.
Super Kev, how would you summarize everything? By the way, I'm going to let Kev take us out. The squaddies have been amazing tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us as always. I'm going to hand it over to Kev, but before I do, we're going to be back tomorrow night. The Tuesday-ish club will return next week. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up for you. Of course, we've got the post-game show against Liverpool on Thursday. Kev says Friday. Some great shows coming up this year. Love you guys. Super Kev, close us out.
Right. Thanks to the ref for coming on. Obviously, it was hotly disputed and looked at weekend in our game. And thanks for coming on and clearing a lot of the stuff up because, you know, there's stuff that you're saying that we have no party to. Luckily, I spoke to Dermot, but the squaddies get the... Thank you for giving them some clarity. Get the clarity from you, ref. I thank you. Not so much thank you for Thursday. Hopefully we sort you right out on Thursday. Sophie, always the hostess with the mostest and the squaddies. You know, thank you for joining us yet again. We really appreciate you. What I would like to say is, you know what? Let's start to believe in this team a little bit more. We do know we're not quite there player-wise. And the ref and Sophie, you're right. We do need to add some experience. We do. But you know what? These youngsters are showing us the way. And then when they do get backed up by the experienced players, like Partey really turned up to the party on against Man City.
Exactly.
Look how we perform. So
Yep.
fingers crossed.
He was brilliant, by the way, Partey. I meant to say that
was.
before. He was outstanding.
And you know what, ref? I thought Xhaka didn't have a bad game. I thought the penalty was poor.
Exactly.
But generally, him and Partey bossed the midfield. So look, there's reasons to be a lot more progressive in your thinking. There's reasons to be a lot not crazy happy, but to know, do you know what? We're building something here. There's a foundation. So let's stick to the foundation, squaddies and Gooners who watch this, and let's keep trying to be positive and sort that red lot out on Thursday. So squaddies, love you lots. Take care. Happy New Year. And you know what comes next? At ease, everybody.
H for Highbury Squad.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Where is it? Where's the button? Oh, I